want to welcome everybody tonight to our College Credit Plus and AP Information Night. There is a lot of information, okay? There's a lot of information to digest. And this is, we're going to start with our presentation tonight. We've invited some local colleges here to share some of their information, but we're also going to link this to our website. So you'll have the opportunity to go onto our website and review this information, as well as our PowerPoint that we're going to show you, and as well as any information that's been shared by our local colleges. Ms. Nogales is also here, our high school guidance counselor, grades 10 through 12. Mrs. Adair, our counselor, grades 6 through 9. I'm going to introduce our colleges that are here. We have Michelle Knotts from Hiram College, James Brown from Eastern Gateway Community College, Jackie Johnson from Youngstown State, and Robert Ridgell from Kent State Trumbull. So thank you folks for coming and sharing this information with us. A few things I want to show you before we start. Our website, put a lot of information on our website, and a lot of information you can access from home. If you go to our website and you click on the high school drop-down menu, there's an area here that's called Student and Parent Resources. This will be the area that you're going to be able to find the information that we talk about tonight. For example, some of you have, your child has probably shared with you some scheduling information. All this information can also be found on our website. So you have access to our academic handbook, our scheduling presentation that we use to educate our students on their course selections. And then we will also add things like our scheduling sheets are on there, but we'll also add the video, the link here, and any presentations that are shared can be found here. Okay, so we're going to move right into it. Like I said, lots of information. Feel free to stop and ask a question. Hopefully we can answer those, or Ms. Nogales can answer those, or any of our guests here from local colleges. One thing I'll say about CCP is that last year at this time, we were presenting information, and the state still had not finalized the rules. We have a little better idea because the state has provided us with an updated version of those rules and some policies and procedures that we have to follow. So last year, every high school in the state of Ohio had to present this information, and it was still in draft form. And it wasn't any fault by ours. It was just the responsibility of the Ohio Department of Education that they had not presented, the final draft copy of those CCP rules. So things are a little bit more concrete now, but I will tell you, with the state and education, things are always subject to change. And when we get those changes, we're going to be sure to try and communicate those changes with you. So we're going to start with the CCP version. We're going to kind of split this up into 3 different parts tonight. We're going to talk about CCP rules and procedures from the state of Ohio, from LaBrae High School. We're going to give all the colleges and universities an opportunity to share some of their admissions and what the requirements are to attend their university, whether you're a high school graduate or a current student wanting to take those classes under CCP. And then we're going to wrap it up with AP. So that's the agenda tonight. Let's get right into it here. First of all, eligibility. Any students grades 7 through 12 is eligible to be part of CCP. You have to inform our guidance department by April 1st. Now, all students will be given, any student that's interested in CCP will attend a mandatory counseling session, and students will be given an intent form. So there's an intent form, a piece of paper, that they have to sign, parents have to sign, and return by April 1st that says, we intend to take CCP classes either in the summer or in the fall. All students who are admitted, they have to follow the guidelines of the college or university. Okay, LaBrae High School doesn't have any say in which students are going to be admitted into these programs. Okay, it's all up to the guidelines and policies that the college and university has established. To participate in the program, There's an application process. You're going to have to take some type of standardized test. You may need a recommendation from a teacher or a counselor. There may be a possible essay. That's all part of the application process. Each college establishes what that process is and what those deadlines are. And then finally, you will have to attend a mandatory counseling session. Every student that wants to be part of this program has to attend a mandatory counseling session that's offered by our high school. There are two options. Option A, students can earn college credit, does not affect their high school GPA, but parents are financially obligated to pay. That's not the popular choice. The popular choice is option B, where students earn high school and college credit at the same time. So as you're earning college credit, you're also earning high school credit towards graduation. All of those courses and credits and grades will be reflected on the high school transcript, and it's at no cost to the student. Okay, so that's where that term dual credit or dual enrollment comes from. You're enrolled both at a college and at LaBrae High School. Support services here with the program. We will provide, our guidance counselors will provide some guidance and support with College Credit Plus. However, you're a college student. If you're enrolled in this program, you're a college student. You are the one that has to be responsible to go look up guidance, go find guidance, schedule an appointment with guidance. Okay, some of our students who will be enrolled in College Credit Plus won't be in our building full time. So you've got to take on that responsibility of making some of those appointments. Colleges are going to provide guidance for admissions, requirements, and course selections. College advisors will troubleshoot any course-related issues. If you're taking college courses and you're having an issue with their Blackboard, with some type of online program, with receiving your grades, it's your responsibility to contact your advisor. Every student will be given and provided a college advisor, and that's your responsibility to acquire that information. Lastly here, I'm going to touch on this one, is that we have students who have missed some information since the beginning of this school year because they're not taking classes with us. And you, as a student, are responsible to make sure, like if you're missing a senior class meeting, okay, or you're missing a junior class meeting, that you have to be responsible enough to get that information. Okay, that's some of the responsibility that you have as a college student. Some scheduling information. Okay, we're not going to alter our master schedule to accommodate your student schedule. There are certain courses that we have to provide certain periods of the day, like Honors Bio 3. That's a college class. 4 credits, 4 college credits the first semester, and 4 college credits the second semester. That is only offered first period. If you want to take our college calculus class through YSU, that is only offered 6th period. So you have to understand that, hey, if I want to be in junior senior band, 4th period, that I've got to make sure that my schedule through LaBrae High School and whatever college you've partnered with can meet that. Okay, because we can't change our schedule. And that's something very important to think about, as you move forward in this program. You can earn up to 30 credit hours per academic year. This year, you have the opportunity to attend summer terms. If you attend a summer term this summer, summer of 2016, it's going to count on the 2016-2017 academic year. Okay, but here we are, it's past mid-February, and they haven't released all of the information for summer school to the high schools. And maybe our colleges have a little bit more information on that. But we don't have a lot of information on that. If you're looking at maybe taking some college classes outside of LaBrae High School. Like maybe you're going to go to Kent, you're going to go to Eastern Gateway, within our school day. It's important to know when those classes are going to be offered. It's a lot easier to schedule some of those classes either in the morning, and then you come back to LaBrae in the afternoon, or you schedule those college classes in the afternoon and start out at LaBrae in the morning. But these are some of the things that you have to think about, as you start to entertain, is this something that I want to be part of? Because our schedules are pretty much set, and there's not a lot of room to make any changes there. You have your, Mr. Goss, if you have anything, or Mr. Derek, you got the mic right there too, if there's anything else you want to add as we go through this. I want to talk about failing and withdrawing. Because, there's a lot of great information, okay, and College Credit Plus can do a lot of great things for families because, it does accelerate you into college. It does relieve you of some of the financial burden of college. But we've had some students who are getting B's and C's and even failing college classes. These are reflected on your high school transcript. When we talked earlier about these classes being at no cost to the families, if you fail the course, you'll be responsible for the cost of that course per credit hour and any fees that are associated with textbooks. Families will have to take on that responsibility. You also have to be aware of when you can withdraw from a course. What happens if the first semester you take college writing and you get a C and you don't want a C? You don't want to, maybe you started off too early, you're not ready for some of the requirements from college, and now here we are in January and we're scheduling for the 2016-2017 school year, or whatever year it may be, and you want to withdraw from that college writing 2 that you have in the spring, you've got to make sure that you meet those deadlines. Because if you try to withdraw too late, again, you'll be financially responsible to pay for that college course, per credit hour. And we've had that. We've had a student who wanted to withdraw. So, what, I've got too much going on, too many things going on with family. So-and-so is sick, I've got to work. I've got to take on some extra responsibilities at home. I need to drop this college class. You're past the deadline. Okay, you might as well take it because you're already going to have to pay for it. Okay, if you choose to drop it after that deadline, you're responsible to pay for it. If something were to happen and you were to be expelled from school, you're financially responsible to pay for that class as well. It could affect your graduation. We have students that, and I keep going back to college writing, but students are taking college writing as an English credit. You have to have 4 credits of English to graduate from high school. They're using college writing as 1. If you were to fail that class, that means you'd be short one of your English credits and would not be able to graduate. So there are some implications to this. What is our responsibility as a district? Because I think this is one of the areas that we want to emphasize and that we're going to continue to emphasize to you, our families, and our students during the course of probably the next year, is that this is what we're responsible to do. We're responsible to give all of our families in our district an annual notice, which is today. Okay? All of our information is on the website. It's also provided in the student handbook. We've had a scheduling assembly with all of our students, and tonight is our information night. We're responsible to cover the cost of tuition. Now, there are some non-public schools that may not be affiliated with College Credit Plus. So you've got to be careful if that's the school that you choose, that you may have some financial obligations as a family to pay for that course. Now, I would venture to say that most of the private schools in Ohio, are affiliated with College Credit Plus. So we have an obligation to provide and purchase your textbooks. And we have an obligation to provide a counseling session to all of our students, which we do it all together. Okay, we bring in all of our CCT students, and we provide that session either in the auditorium or in the band room, and that's how we counsel our students. And then they have the opportunity to meet with their guidance counselor or meet with me to discuss things in more detail. This is a notification that we have to provide to all of our families. We're going to show you our pathways and the colleges that we've partnered with. Those 4 colleges are here: Hiram, Eastern Gateway, YSU, and Kent Trumbull. You can choose colleges outside of those pathways. You can be enrolled in more than one of these institutions. We have to provide you a list of all the courses that we offer here at LaBrae that are CCP classes. That's in your handbook. It's also on your scheduling sheets. Students should be reviewing on their own the course catalogs for the institutions that they're interested in attending. Our CCP information right now is still a draft copy. Okay, that's online. Anything that's in our academic handbook regarding CCP is still in draft form. For those of you who were in CCP or who are in CCP this year we're going to have a handbook that's going to provide some deadlines and some expectations. Make sure that those are communicated with families, with parents. Make sure that those are signed, that there's an understanding of what our responsibility is as a school, what your responsibility is as a family, and what the local college and university's responsibilities are to the student. You have the opportunity to participate in the summer term. You have the opportunity to enroll in 30 credit hours for 1 year. If you exceed those credit hours, if you exceed over 30, you'd be responsible to pay for any additional credit hours. What are some of the responsibilities of the institutions? And they can probably fill in some of these a little bit more detail, but this is taken from the law that was shared with us the first or second week of January. Every student receives an academic advisor. So if you enroll in 3 different institutions, you have 3 different academic advisors. That's your lifeline. Those are the people that you need to be able to contact. Whether it's by phone, it's by email. Those are the people that should be able to answer most of your questions. Each institution should be providing a mandatory meeting. Now, some of these are done online. Some of these are done through Skyping or through videos, which again, the best educations are the ones that are provided face-to-face. Okay, but in this meeting, they should be sharing what academic resources are available to help students, what times you can reach your advisor, how to engage their faculty for assistance, what their code of conduct is, what their student handbook looks like, what the impact is of dropping a course after the withdrawal date. Those are some of the things that institutions are obligated to share with students and families. Some of our reflections after the first year, and this is where, this has been, we've taken a look at this, okay, because we want to provide this to our families. Okay, I think this is an opportunity, for some of our families to be relieved of some of the financial burden of college. I understand that, but I also understand this, is that with that comes some added responsibility of our students. This year was new for everybody, and there were times that we kind of had to hold the hands of our students to kind of get them to where they were supposed to be. I expect in the next school year to have twice as many students involved in this program as we do now. We can't provide all of that individual attention anymore, nor do I think that we should, being that once you have applied and you have been accepted into that program or that college, you become a college student. Whether you're 14 or you're 18 or you're 22, when you're a college student comes the responsibilities of an adult. So here are some things that we encountered. So interject at any time, expand on any of these, okay? The first thing, deadlines. Deadlines, deadlines. We've allowed some students into some programs who have not met deadlines. Okay? That's creating quite a burden on our staff here. And like when I say that, I fully expect this program to double. Your child and our families must be responsible enough to meet these deadlines. And those deadlines are going to be provided in our handbook. That's going to be, if your child is intending to enroll in a CCP, your child will be given that handbook. That handbook should be reviewed at home, signed at home, brought back. It should also be presented online. You're going to have an opportunity to view this, okay? And it's really, I'm going to sound like a broken record by the end of the night, but you got to take some responsibility, okay, as students in this program. So here are some things that we've encountered along the way. You want to cover some of this, Mr. Gallus? Yeah.
Okay. The first one is some schools that are not in our pathway require their tests to be proctored, which means a staff member at LaBrae High School is who they were asking to do that. And being that they were our students and the teachers know them, they volunteered to do that. So as Mr. Starkey will talk later, that's a problem because there's many things that they have to do. They have to email them, they have to download it, they have to email them back, they're responsible, they're signing off on it. So test proctoring was one. Communications with the college. If you're not in our pathway, these 4 people here, or somebody that works for a university, they are in our pathway. We have a direct connection to them. The students have a direct connection to them. So if you were at, I'll use Kent State as an example, all the Kent students meet with Robert. And Robert will be up here later. They meet with him. If they had a question, they came to see me, I would say, go see Robert. They know who Robert is. They know where his office is. He gets right back to them. We have phone numbers. We call him. He comes to LaBrae if there's something. So we have a connection with them, so there's an open communication between the schools that are in our pathway. Blackboard access code issues. We've had some issues with kids with books. They needed access codes and stuff. They couldn't reach somebody at their university to start that, so then they had papers due or an exam, and they couldn't get on there to do it. Some may not know how to do it.
So instead of contacting the college advisor, they were going into the guidance department. Whereas a college student should be contacting that student advisor. That's the responsibility of the student. This is the support that the college and the institutions should be providing for our students.
Orientation should be, or what I was under the assumption should be, a face-to-face where you meet with somebody and they sit with you and they go over it. Some places you're doing it online, so you never really have a connection with your advisor unless it's just online or you emailing somebody. Letter F, missing some high school activities and meetings. I go do all my presentations usually through an English classroom with seniors, so I do financial aid, I do college and career readiness, I do scholarships. All of that usually has come through in English, so if they're not in that class, they're missing what I'm talking about. When it comes to scholarships and financial aid stuff, that's really important. It's also posted on our website, but I have a tendency to see that a lot of kids don't go on there to see it. It's not the same as actually hearing me tell you this is when this is going to be out. Dropping classes. Kids have had to drop. There's dropping and there's withdrawing. If they withdraw, they get a W on their transcript, okay? So dropping the class, if you were in college and you were dropping a class, you would have to go through the whole steps of dropping it. Up till now, they've come to me, and I've dropped their classes and added their classes for them. Textbooks. Every school does their textbooks different. Some schools change from the fall to the spring how they were doing their textbooks. So they also have to bring me their textbooks because the textbooks are property of LaBrae because LaBrae purchased the textbooks and we send them back. So anybody that went to college knows that you get reimbursed for some books. So you have to bring me your books when you get them, and I have to mark down that we have them, and then our school treasurer will come to me with the bill that every separate university sends, and I make sure that I have the book that is on there. If you didn't bring me the book, we're not paying for it, which means then there's going to be a problem because we'll be hearing back and forth. Then we have to return the textbook. So at the end of your class, you have to bring me your books, and we have to return them. Again, those all have deadline dates because you can't return a book. There's only a window of time that you can do that. So next year, as Mr. Starkey said, in our handbook, all of those things will be listed that kids will have to do. And part of that would be their textbooks, their schedules, their grades, their transcripts. They will be responsible for bringing them in on the assigned dates. So if they have a problem or reaching their advisor or their counselor, then they're going to miss their deadlines for having that stuff in. Face-to-face connection has been a big thing for some kids. I've had kids crying in my office because they can't get a hold of somebody, something doesn't work, they don't have an access code, they need this proctored, this has to go back, they don't know who, they can't get a hold of somebody. They don't even know, other than having the name of somebody and a number, they have no face-to-face connection with them. And students not ready. I can just give you one example of I had, and every kid's different, so you know your own child the best. But I had a student just recently, and it was a textbook issue, and we were being charged for these textbooks that she did not have. And I said, what do you have to do? You have to go to the bookstore. So step by step, I'm telling her what to do, but she had to do it. And she said, I'm just a kid. Well, my answer was, okay, I know, but you're a kid in college. So when you're in college and you have a textbook, and they charge you $500 for something that you don't have in your hand, you're not just going to pay a $500 bill. So that's some of the things that they're not realizing. Or yesterday I got a phone call from a parent. My kid's going to be late because their college professor, and so the kid calls their mom to call me to tell me that they're going to be late when, I hate to say it, when you're in college and you're a college student, usually your parent's not calling. So those are just a couple of examples of some things that we have run into, and as we see the program growing, and we can see how successful a lot of people are in this, we just want you to realize that this stuff happens every single day, and we'd like it to work the smoothest for most kids.
So here's some more things to think about. Okay, for those of you who might be sending your child off to a college campus, okay, they're going to be exposed to things that they're not going to be exposed here in our high school. Okay, they're going to be exposed to adult students. They may be 45-year-old students, they may be 30-year-old students, they may be 19-year-old students. Okay, but they're going to be exposed to things that they wouldn't be exposed to in our building. Their grades will be recorded on our transcripts, calculated in the class rank. If a student remains at YSU or remains at Hiram, then that course will become a transcripted grade. It will reflect, as part of their college GPA as well. Families are responsible for transportation and parking, those types of things if your student is going off campus. If your child, if you have a freshman or a sophomore sitting in here, but especially a freshman is going to take some courses next year and take even more of their junior year and even more of their senior year. They're going to graduate from college when they're 19 or 20. Okay, what's next? Okay, what are the plans next? End of course exams. Those are graduation requirements, that students are required to take throughout Ohio as part of graduation. Now there's other pathways to graduation, but at LaBrae, all of our freshman students.
If you order from Brothers, the orders are in the lounge across from the attendant's office.
I might have to microwave mine. But if you are taking, if you're a freshman, you got to take 3 end-of-course exams. If you're a sophomore, you have to take 3 end-of-course exams. If you're a junior, you're going to take 1 in government. So there's 7 end-of-course exams that you are still required to take. And that's our decision, okay, at LaBrae High School. Taking CCP classes could affect your eligibility. Those are things that, again, this is your responsibility. If you're a volleyball player, if you're a basketball player, if you are playing a spring sport, okay, that is your responsibility to make sure that you have checked with the athletic director that you're going to be eligible.
So you know, their grades, if you get a progress report or a report card and it's not at the end of the term for the university, your child will not have a grade on there. So if Mr. Rowe is checking eligibility and they're taking 3 classes at a college or university, it's the end of the first 9 weeks, they don't have a grade, it's the responsibility of the student to turn that in, a grade, to Mr. Rowe, or he can't check their eligibility. So it's going to show up like they're not eligible. And again, that's going to their responsibility to go to the professor, get their grade, and turn it in to Mr. Rowe.
If you're taking courses in colleges that are outside our pathways, so if you're taking courses at a college outside of Hiram, Eastern Gateway, Youngstown, or Kent Trumbull, we can no longer provide time in the school day or a computer for you during the school day. Okay, that's going to be some responsibility that you're going to have to take care of sometime after school or sometime else within this day. Okay, we have, and there's a couple reasons for that. Okay, number one, the online classroom that we have used for CCP started off as a credit recovery classroom. And it's a credit recovery program that has been going on now for roughly, it's 2.5 years. We don't have as many students that are behind in credits. I can't justify having a lab of 25 computers and only having 5 to 8 students in there. So that lab that we have used for credit recovery, that we've also allowed some of our CCP students to use, is being moved to a smaller room where there's only 8 to 10 computers in it. And that lab that once was used for credit recovery and CCP is now going to become a STEM classroom. Where Mr. Slifka is going to move his equipment and his stuff in there. We're looking to purchase some extra equipment to go in there. College Credit Plus classes are going to create scheduling conflicts. I talked to one of my favorite students today who's in here. I thought I'm not going to embarrass him. Okay, who said that, hey, I want to take some classes at Toledo, but I want to take Bio 3 and I want to take Calc. Okay, here at LaBrae through YSU. Okay, so our Bio 3 class is first period and our Calc class is sixth period. What are you going to do the rest of the day? What are you going to do second, third, fourth? Okay, what are you going to do seventh and eighth? Because if you're taking a bunch of college classes, there's only so much room in your schedule. There's only so many hours of classes that you can take each year. So if you're taking courses outside of our pathway, what are you going to do for second, third, fourth period? Okay, so we're going to talk about what that means for a few of our students who may be thinking about that. We've got to adhere to the guidelines that are in the handbook, okay, and understand that, if we're not meeting some of these deadlines, if we're not following through, on your end as students and families, then that could result in some consequences that maybe either restricts how many classes you can enroll in, maybe you miss the deadline and you can't get into a class, whatever it may be, okay? And, I don't want to sound, I know I kind of sound a little harsh with some of these statements we're making, but this program is going to double. And we have to be able to manage this program, as well as the other 350 students in our building, our AP program, our athletic program, our Viking Learning Center, okay, our CBI program, our students that are at TCTC, our special ed population. We have a lot of students that we serve. And we have to be able to manage these programs so that we can serve them all. I'm a parent. My oldest is only a 5th grader though, but he thinks he knows everything. But there's no way he could be ready to start college as a 7th grader. But what I'm thinking is, as a parent, what do I want my child's day to look like? One of the things I try to tell our kids and I try to tell our families that we work hard every day is to provide a safe environment for your student when they come here. First priority. Very first priority. Okay? We do the best we can of doing that. So that when you drop your kid off at LaBrae High School, or that student gets off the bus, and from the time he's here or she's here, and they go home, that we're providing an environment that can cultivate their learning. It's a caring environment. You know where they are. You know they're in a safe place. You know that they're with some people that you can count on, some people that you can trust. If you're taking our courses, and now, last year we offered, I can't remember how many courses, but we had 8 hours of bio, 8 hours of chem, 4 hours of calc. We had some other classes that we really didn't offer in our building, roughly about 20 to 30 hours. This year we offer 42 hours, that if you take those classes, you never have to leave our building. 42 hours. Okay, it's probably one of the most comprehensive programs that you'll find in the area. So if your students are taking Mr. Klossbach's class, Mr. DeMuzio's class, Mrs. Kovac-Silver's class, Mr. Wolford is teaching some classes. If your students are taking those classes, then they'll be in a LaBrae classroom with a LaBrae teacher. Those teachers, Mr. Wolford, Mr. DeMuzio, Mrs. Kovac-Silvers, Mr. Klossbach, they are all professors through different universities, adjunct professors. So you're taking those courses in our classrooms with our teachers. If you're taking one of our online courses that we have to offer, then you're taking that in our Viking Learning Center, which is our online classroom, with a facilitator, with a teacher in there. Everybody hears everybody sees the commercials for ECOT and Ohio Virtual Academy and all these online programs, and it all looks like rainbows and unicorns and everything works out well. That's usually not the case, because students struggle working online unless they have somebody there to make sure that that's how they're spending their time. If your student chooses our pathway, they'll have access to a computer and one of our facilitators, okay? So do you want your child's day spent on a college campus, or do you want your child's day spent online at home? Those are some of the things you have to think about when you are signing up for CCP. How many periods will your student attend LaBrae High School? What type of freedom are they going to have during the day? Because what are we going to do for that student who's only here for 2 periods? What about mandatory school meetings? What about returning to school, transportation back to school for practice, or extracurriculars that are after school? How will you handle that transportation? Our students have to have 6 to 7 credits, 6 to 7 classes per year. They're allowed to have 1 study hall. So if a student is taking, we'll go back to that, there's Bio 3 at 1st period, Calc 6th period, and they're taking classes at Ohio State or at University of Cincinnati, they can only have 1 study hall. What are they going to do the rest of the periods? So those are some things to think about, as you're planning this program. The summer term. Okay, again, the state's supposed to share information with us mid-February. That's February 18th. I'm pretty sure that's more than half. Okay? So they have not shared this information with us yet. So that is something we will keep you updated about as we get more information. Again, any classes you take this summer, count towards your 30 for next school year. You gotta be careful. If that's what you want to do, that could put you in a jackpot of what you're going to do in the 2nd semester. Maybe your child's only taking 1 class because they overloaded over the summer, maybe they overloaded in the fall semester, and now they only have time because you're only allowed to have 30 hours. Ms. Nogales can explain that calculation at some point because I'm a little foggy on it. I wasn't a math major. But there could be a potential issue there. If you want to participate in the summer term, again, you've got to submit that letter of intent. And that letter of intent will be sent out to your child shortly, within the next probably 5 to 8 days. If you have an urgency for summer term, then I think you need to go seek guidance immediately. Here's the other problem with the summer term. You're not going to have access to high school staff members in the summer. Our employees are contracted to work a certain amount of days through June, and a certain amount of days before school. And in between, they're on vacation, okay? They're home, okay? And that's their time off. So you're not going to have that service. You're not going to have that type of connection, that type of communication during the summer. Credits, because this has changed. If you've had an older son or older daughter that was involved in the post-secondary options, there used to be a formula that created, different fractions and different fractions of credit hours that were calculated into high school credits. It's much simpler now. Most college classes are 3 semester hours, which equals 1 high school credit. So I used that as an example earlier in a presentation. Our students who are taking honors bio, that's actually 2 college classes. So the first section of that class is our first semester. That is 4 semester hours. That's 1 high school credit. You take the class, the second semester, which we call it now, it's Honors Bio 3B. You complete that course, pass that course, you get 4 semester hours of college credit and 1 high school credit. So the Honors Chem class, the Honors Bio classes, those are actually 2 high school credits this school year. The adjusted grade point average. In a regular classroom, in academic English, and advanced algebra, world studies, U.S. history, and to calculate a GPA, an A would equal 4 points. If you get straight A's, you have a 4.0. All of our CCP classes, any college class that you take, you have an adjusted GPA. Any of our AP classes that you take, you get an adjusted scale, an adjusted quality points. So if you were to get an A, and this is for all of our students who are current juniors and below, if you're getting an A in these college classes, it will be counting as 5 points for quality points. So when you look at some of the other schools, maybe you have some friends and family that are at other schools and they graduated with a 4.1 or a 4.3, it's because of the quality points that have been associated with probably an advanced placement class. College Credit Plus in athletics. You have to be eligible for 5 credits. You have to have 5 passing credits at the end of each 9 weeks to be eligible for the next 9 weeks. College Credit Plus makes this formula a little bit different. Okay, it used to be, you're familiar with, you take a biology class, if you're just taking advanced bio, and you're taking advanced chemistry, and you're taking advanced algebra, those are all 1 class and 1 credit. If you're taking a class in college for a semester, and it's 3 semester hours, it equals 1 high school credit. But because the duration is a college semester, it is actually worth 2 credits to determine eligibility. It may be a little confusing to figure this out. That's why if you're an athlete and you want to enroll in College Credit Plus, it's your responsibility to have a meeting with your athletic director to make sure that you remain eligible if you're part of this program. Okay, some of our partners here, we're all about done with our part. But some of our partners here, Hiram College is a private college. We're offering American Studies, and that's a class that Mr. Wolford will be teaching 4 semester hours. Youngstown State, we offer Bio 3A, Bio 3B, Chem 2A, Chem 2B, and Calculus. Through Kent Trumbull. And these are all classes that we are having in our building. These are the classes that if you choose these classes, these pathways, these courses, your child will be taking these courses in our building, either facilitated in an online classroom or in a LaBrae High School classroom taught by one of our teachers who is also a professor that is associated with that university. Kent Trumbull, web technology, computer systems. We're working out with Kent Trumbull now, some college writing, 1 and 2, psychology and sociology. We've also had students who have taken Eastern Gateway okay, which is another one of our neighbors. So these are 4 universities that if you choose, you have a lot of options within your school day and within our building. So this is what our pathway looks like. 42 hours. Again, your child doesn't have to leave our building and can earn 42 hours of college credit. Okay, that's pretty good. You know, and it's really, I think, a testament of our teachers in our building who have saw this need and are filling this need to promote this program and to provide a great educational service to our students that they're taking on this additional responsibility. But we have honors calculus in a regular classroom, psych and soc, which are online, web tech, computer systems, American studies in a LaBrae classroom, and then college writing 1 and 2, which are online. If you're a science major, if you think you're going to be a science major, you need to get enrolled into Bio 3 and Chem 2. You get 16 hours of science before you graduate high school. So again, these are semester courses. Each one is a semester, a high school semester. You take them both together, 3A and 3B, 2A and 2B, and you would receive, if you pass those courses, 16 hours of college credit. And these courses are taught by LaBrae High School teachers in a LaBrae High School classroom. This is the document that we passed out to you. Okay, and this is, I think Mr. LaBrae may have said this as we were planning this, it's almost like picking your insurance plan. Okay, you know, what options, you know, provide the most service? You know, what options are you choosing? What options are you looking for? And I'm going to let Ms. Nogales explain some of this, but I'm going to talk about what each one of these subject headings mean right here. Okay, up at the top, where it says the LHS course, that is our course taught by our teacher in our building. Chem, Bio 3, Calc. Okay? Here's the responsibilities of our district. Here's the responsibilities of the college that's associated with that class, and the responsibilities of the students and families. This next column, LHS online course. We will provide, so this will be the online sociology, psychology. This will be the online college writing 1, college writing 2. If you're taking those courses, we're going to provide you some lab time in your schedule with one of our teachers who's going to make sure that your child is making progress and is working and is on task. If you are choosing one of our partners with Hiram and Kent Trumbull and Eastern Gateway and Youngstown State, if you are choosing what this means here, if you're taking a course that we don't offer, maybe it's a Western Civ course, maybe it's advanced, maybe it's college algebra course. If you're taking a course that we don't offer online, this is what this means, okay? You are taking a Kent, YSU, Eastern Gateway, or Hiram course online that we're going to try to provide you some time within your day. This heading here means that you're taking a YSU, Eastern Gateway, Hiram course, Kent Trumbull course, but you're taking it on campus. And then the last heading is, if you are choosing a college and a course that we're not partnered with, these are the responsibilities.
He kind of covered a lot, so just a little bit more about this. Again, our LaBrae High School courses taught by a LaBrae High School teacher. Basically, if you look at the responsibility of the student or the family, they're going to sign. And when Mr. Starkey told you earlier, you had to notify your guidance by April 1st. That's a letter of intent that is on our website. You just have to print that off, sign it, and it has to be turned into guidance. And I have the students sign that in. So come May, somebody doesn't say, well, my student turned it in and it's still in their locker. So they're signed in to me. That's on our website. It's a letter of intent. It is due April 1st. Because you sign that letter does not mean you are obligated. It just means you have the intent to take a CC Plus class, because what's going to happen is some students may not have that ACT test score by the April 1st. So they may have the intent to take the class, but they have to still get their score. So if you are taking a class through the first one going down, basically you're going to turn in your forms on time and you're going to adhere to LaBrae High School's expectations. It's very simple. Everything else is pretty much done for you. They know who the teacher is. Your textbooks are given to you there, just like a normal class. The next pathway is the LaBrae High School online, which are the classes that we showed you up there that we are going to obviously communicate the expectations. We're going to provide you with a lab. We're going to order and register your textbooks. You're going to have a facilitator in there, and we would do your drop and add for you. Because your drop and add, because it's one of our classes, it has to come through me. The responsibilities of the student, again, they have to turn in some forms. They also have to turn in their final grades. They have to make sure if they're playing a sport that they are eligible. They have to adhere to LaBrae High School expectations, and they are going to have to communicate with their advisors and professors if they need to do that. Okay, the LaBrae High School partner online. Those two are very, very similar. Again, those are using our partners that we have here, the same as if you go on campus. So in this past year, I've had some kids go to Kent State. They started off maybe in the fall taking 3 classes. All 3 classes were face-to-face, so they had to go to Kent Trumbull. And then this semester, maybe 2 of their classes, they go on campus, and 1 class they chose to do online. Again, they're still doing them through somebody that we've partnered with. And then again, if you choose one of our non-partners, you're going to have to register your textbooks with us when you get them. We will communicate our expectations to you, but the student is going to have some more responsibility as far as following all of those expectations at the bottom and following the deadlines that are probably the most important. I'm going to explain one more thing while I'm talking. The 30 hours that we were talking about, there is a formula for the 30. So the easiest way for me to explain it to you is if your student is taking 4 classes at LaBrae, and each of those are worth 1 credit. Now when I say classes at LaBrae, they are not CC plus classes, so they are not, you are not including like Mr. Klotzbach's biology class, or Mr. DeMuzio's Chem 2, or Mrs. Kovac's calculus class, okay? You are just taking a regular government class, you're taking a Spanish class. So I'm going to say, if you're taking 4 LaBrae High School classes, you multiply the 4 classes that you're taking times 3, which would give you 12. You subtract 30 minus 12, and that would give you 18 college hours that you could take for that school year. So for every 1-hour class that you have at LaBrae High School, not a CC plus class, you multiply it by 3. You subtract it from 30, and that will give you how many college hours you could have. So we have students that double up in sciences, and they take Chem 2 and Bio 3. Each of those is worth 8. So 8 and 8 is 16. So on top of your LaBrae classes, you'd be subtracting that 16, and then if you wanted to take something else. And for some students, their number adds up pretty fast.
So that's part of the danger of that summer term. You know, if you take multiple summer courses and then you take multiple college courses in the fall, you're not going to have much room left. You're not going to have a lot of options available in the second semester. Those courses fill up fast. You know, they take a lot of space, 16. You take our Chem and Bio, that is 16. Okay? If you're a LaBrae student, you're taking 5 more classes that semester. Okay, is that done by semester or is it done by year?
The 30?
Yeah.
The 30 is a whole year.
Okay.
So it would be summer, fall, spring. A LaBrae class is considered all year. A CC plus class, yeah, you have to add your fall classes and your spring classes. So what we did with our CCP students was at the end of the first semester, or before class started in the fall, we figured out how many they could take. Then at the end of the semester, we figured out how many they can sign up for again. And again, that's their responsibility. If you go over the 30, then there's a fee for that, because then it starts, we only cover up to the 30. Okay, so they have to make sure that they figure that out. And you kind of want to figure out your year, even though it's kind of difficult, because it's hard to say that you're going to get into all the classes that you want.
Okay. All right, let's take a couple minutes here just to kind of digest this. We're going to have our speakers come up, so if you want to get up and stretch for a few minutes or kind of think about some of the information that we just shared. But our speakers are going to get up and present here for a few minutes, talk about their admissions process, what are some of the courses that they have to offer, and then we'll wrap it all up with AP. So thank you. Go ahead and take a few minutes. Need to stretch.
A few people have questions about ACT. If you're unsure of how to register for the ACT, you just have to go online to act.org and you register for it. The first time your student registers for the ACT test, it's going to take you about 45 minutes. And they're going to ask you some important questions, like what high school you go to, where you want your scores sent to. At some point, if your student is only a freshman or a sophomore, students don't know exactly what college. I usually tell them try and pick things that are local, Kent, Youngstown. Those are good places to start off with. And then they ask them a bunch of survey questions the first time. Once they create their password, after their ACT test is taken, 2 weeks later they receive their scores online, and those scores are on there. The next time they want to take the test, they log in under their password, and it's real quick to register. It takes about 10 minutes because they've already answered all those survey questions. They just say again where their high school is, where they want to go take the test, answer a couple questions, and they're registered for the second time. If they're taking it, my suggestion, if you're taking it as a sophomore or a junior, take it the first time without writing. They only need one writing sample to go to college. The writing sample is not part of their composite score. The average score in Ohio is a 21. The writing is not included in that, okay? The universities would just like to see a writing sample. So if you are taking it as a sophomore or as a junior and you're going to take it multiple times, you can just take it one time with the writing. If you're on free or reduced lunch, you get a waiver through me once you've completed your application and you reach the part where it says, how are you going to pay? You see me and you get 2 waivers while you're in high school.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jackie Johnson. I am not Maisha Jennings. And in the spirit of full disclosure, I am actually an admissions officer, undergraduate admissions at YSU. My colleague, who usually does this presentation, is on maternity leave. My other colleague is at another presentation. Yet another one is somewhere else, and another person cannot drive at night. So you guys get me, who knows absolutely nothing about College Credit Plus. But I have a PowerPoint, and I have a brochure that I pass out to you all, and so we're going to kind of go through this together. Stop me if you have questions. I can answer some questions. Can I just add on what you said about ACTs? As an admissions person, whether you do College Credit Plus or whether you just kind of do direct admit to a university, I encourage all of you all to take that ACT more than one time. Don't let that first score just sit. I cannot tell you how many applications that I review as an admissions person. Someone has a 3.8 GPA and a 15 on their ACT, and they won't take it again. And you're leaving money on the table, and you're just making your life a little bit more difficult as it relates to financial aid if you don't take the test multiple times. So there's my plug for taking the test multiple times. So, all right, so what is dual enrollment? I think the principal kind of explained about the dual enrollment. That means you kind of have feet in both worlds. You are a high school student and you are a college student. Your final grade, again, is in two places, your high school transcript and your college transcript. I'm going to stop here for a second and really stress that. I think you did a great job of stressing the importance. This is where that mythical permanent record actually comes into place. Guess what? In college, you really do have a permanent record. Everything you do is recorded somewhere, and it follows you no matter where you go. We have a lot of students that will say, well, you know, I just took one class at Kenton, and I didn't do so well, so that shouldn't count. Well, no, it does count. It follows you everywhere you go, so be very, very careful in your choices that you make if you're going to do College Credit Plus. Be very careful. Take it very, very seriously, because this course will follow you forever. So there's no getting away from it. Again, you did a great job kind of explaining how the program works. So we can kind of read this together. I like the fact that you explained how the classes are different from whether you're here in your high school or whether you take them online or whether you come on campus. And just know that once you're on campus, and this is something that my colleague asked me to make sure that I mention, even though you are high school students, a lot of you will be minors, you're taking college classes, the professor is not going to alter the course material just because you're 15 years old or 16 years old. Some of these courses, psychology courses in particular, even some of these humanities courses, the subject matter gets very mature. And you're in classes, again, with a range, you may be 15, someone may be 50. And the discussion sometimes might be a little over your head, but just know that that's kind of how the program is set up. So, eligibility. So to be eligible for College Credit Plus program at YSU, you have to have a 2.0 GPA and overall GPA and a composite score of 17 on the ACT, or at least 820 critical reading and math on the SAT. Again, a 17 and a 2.0. Those are the admissions requirements for YSU. If you don't have either one of those, if you do not meet either one of those requirements, you will not be granted admission to YSU in the College Credit Plus program, nor as a regular student. Again, my stressing of hitting that, taking that ACT more than once to get that comp score up to at least a 17. And for students that are old enough to take the OGTs, you must pass the OGT or the new AIR test. Okay, so it is a little bit different. Now, certain courses at YSU are going to require different sub-scores on the ACT and the SAT, particularly the biology and this kind of the STEM classes. They'll want a higher sub-score in math and science because of the level of the academic work. Again, your principal talked about how many credit hours you can earn. It's a max of 120. A bachelor's degree at YSU is 120 plus degrees, and an associate's degree is 60. So a number of students, kind of walk and say, well, I already have 75 college credits. Well, that's awesome. But you still do not quite have your bachelor's yet. So it's 120 plus. We say plus because you're going to have capstone classes, additional lab classes. You may have to do an internship. You may have to, write your thesis paper. It just depends. So this is kind of a model. Now, the brochure that I passed out to most of you has this general education example inside. If you open it, you'll see that inside, kind of what one semester could look like with 14 total. Again, be very careful with your numbers because you don't want to put yourself in a bad way. Like we said, those classes can add up pretty quick. Again, this is something you'll discuss with your high school counselor. These are some of the benefits of the program. Again, I apologize for going very fast, and I apologize for not elaborating too much, but I want to leave time for my colleagues and for any questions that I maybe can answer with a little more specificity, okay? I did want to jump over to, this is important, especially for students who take classes on campus. You do have access to the rec center and all athletic events with your ID. So, while yes, we talked about subject matter being more mature and you're on a college campus, but there's an upside to that. You can work out in the rec. You can kind of hang out with the other students, but just know, parents, if you're a little nervous about that, that might be something you might really want to think about. Cutting your kid loose in the rec. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's the rec center. People run around in yoga pants. I don't know. I don't work out in the rec, I'm too intimidated. Those young people, just too much for me. So transferring credits. Now, Kent and Eastern Gateway and YSU are all in the Ohio education system, so these automatically transfer. Let's say you decide you rack up a number of college credits from YSU, and you decide, well, I don't want to go to YSU to start my undergraduate degree. I want to go to Kent. That's not a problem. Those credits will easily transfer. If you decide to go to a private school, you might want to check first. And see that down there, save your syllabus. That's vitally important, because what will happen is, let's say you decide you want to go to Hiram. Well, when you talk to your academic advisor at Hiram, they're going to say, well, let me see the course syllabus and see the equivalencies. If these courses will transfer, if we have an equivalent to this particular course. That is why it's very important to save that syllabus. And it's important for a number of reasons too, but that's probably the most important. So speaking, actually I want to go back to this for a second. You talked about the academic advisors on college campuses and how they are kind of your lifeline when you're dealing, especially in College Credit Plus. But even outside of that, your academic advisor, no matter where you end up, is your new best friend on the college campus. They know everything. They know which professors are really, really great. They know which professors are kind of okay. They know the best class, the orders of classes to take. They know what scholarships are coming available. They usually know when there's an internship opening. They always know about campus jobs. And they can also tell you that professor is going on sabbatical and that course may not be offered next spring, so you might want to take it now because it will put you behind in graduation. A lot of students make the mistake of making an appointment with their academic advisor and then blowing it off. Well, good thing about the College Credit Plus program, you cannot move forward. You can't even register for classes at YSU until you meet with your academic advisor. It's the linchpin of this program. That person's going to make sure you stay on track. If you have a problem with a professor, if you have a problem with your books, if you have any sort of issue, that's going to be your go-to person. You really want to get to know their name, get their business card, make sure that they know who you are. Outside of that, same thing. They're your best friend on college campus. So here are some dates. If you have not taken the ACT already, February 6th was the deadline. You're not going to be eligible for summer courses because we need the ACT, that February 6th ACT, because the deadline has actually already, for summer, the deadline hasn't passed. For your application is March 1st, so you can't take the ACT in April for summer courses. If you look on the back on the front of the brochure I passed out, you'll see some of the 2016-2017 deadlines. So for YSU's purposes, unless you've taken that ACT already, summer courses are not going to be an option for you because there's no way you're going to meet those deadlines. Yes, ma'am.
If they took the YSU approved ACT last year at YSU, not the actual ACT, is that
The residual?
Yeah, is that
Okay.
okay for the summer courses?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think you just have to take it one time for admissions. I don't think you have to keep retaking it.
Okay.
So if it's a returning student, I would think that's fine.
Okay.
So yes, that's an exception. If you're a brand new student to the program, probably not a returning student, you've already taken the ACT, you don't have to keep retaking it. And again, I sincerely apologize that I'm not Maisha and I'm not Shanna and I'm not Sharon. So I apologize, but I wanted to make sure I kind of hit on some points here. Let's talk about, she did want me to tell you about orientation. Orientation is mandatory for all new College Credit Plus students and returning college credit. It is absolutely 100% mandatory. There's no getting around it. You've got to pick one of these orientation dates and for advisement over the summertime, and you have to come to one of them. You don't have to come to all of them, but you have to pick one. It is mandatory. There is no ifs, ands, or buts, maybes about it. Yes, sir.
Last year, we had a date early in the school year where we bused all of our students who were taking YSU College Credit Plus classes to campus for that orientation. Correct?
Yes.
We did that last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in one of our classes.
Yeah.
going to leave this up here for a second. You must meet, new students will attend the May 5th for summer orientation and August 9th or 12th for the fall orientation if you're a brand new CCP student. You absolutely, if you're going to take your classes on campus, you have to come to one of those 2 dates. This on the brochure, the front of the brochure, there's questions for the CCP staff. I really encourage you, again, I apologize, I'm so sorry, I am not the one to give you all the right information. But you can call them, but I do know that student orientation is not up for discussion. You have to come, because that's where you're going to be with your academic advisor.
You'll be able to find all this information on our website. At the end of this, we'll make sure that we get all the presentations loaded from all the colleges, and then over the next few days, those will get added to our website as well.
Okay, and then at this point, the real CCP person would kind of, tell you a few more of the benefits and the challenges and talk a little bit more about the program. I'm not going to do that. They want you to like us on Facebook and Twitter. And that's it for me. So thank you for listening. Are there any other questions before I turn this over to the next speaker? I guess our college is going. Thank you.
I do not have a PowerPoint. I was an English teacher for 15 years and have a pretty strong teacher voice, so I don't even think I need a mic. Can you all hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty loud. A little loud woman. I'm just going to tell you really quickly a few things about Hiram College. It's a small private liberal arts college. It's about 20 minutes from here. We offer several ways that you can do College Credit Plus at Hiram College. Traditional courses on campus. We also have some online classes, and I have a list of those here with me this evening that we've designated as appropriate for first-year students. So if you want to get that list from me while I'm here, you can. We also offer something called Weekend College, which is every other Saturday morning folks get together and take classes. We had a 9th grader complete a statistics class this past fall doing Weekend College on Saturdays. We also then will be offering one course here at LaBrae next year. Mr. Wolford will be teaching a 4-credit social sciences course. It's Education 201 is the title of the course from Hiram College, and Mr. Starkey talked a little bit about that. So if you want to take courses at Hiram by any of those routes, then you need to apply to Hiram by our May 15th deadline. Our deadline is May 15th. So even if you're registering with your counselor to take that American Studies class next year, you will need to register and become a student at Hiram College. I have a bunch of these with me that I'm happy to leave a few with the counselors or pass out to you with some more information about Hiram College in general, but specifically about applying to Hiram College for College Credit Plus. And then finally, really quickly, one thing that I want to say to high school students who are here, it's not College Credit Plus, but Hiram College also offers in the summer, if your student is interested in writing and or political science, June 22nd to 25th, high school students from all over the state come to Hiram College. There's a simulated Middle East meltdown, and then a writing workshop, and we have this beautiful field station outdoors where folks go and hang out and do some writing. These are really reasonably priced residential programs. You come live in the dorms, you get a taste for college. Sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and any student who does one of these and then applies and is admitted to Hiram as a full-time student gets a $1,000 scholarship for each year that they're at Hiram. So if you're interested in these programs, I'll leave a few of these handouts with your counselors. You can ask me about them. Any questions about anything about Hiram College, of course? Yeah.
I'm just going to use YSU's example. They said February 6th was the ACT date that could not, you had to take it before then to allow you to do the summer. I didn't hear you talk about that for summer for Hiram. So is there a date that you've got to get your ACT in before you can go to Hiram, because that also would eliminate a lot of people to say, well, we can't do that either.
Well, these summer things I talked about are just for high school students and are not College Credit Plus. But our deadline for application is May 15th. So if you have a student who's planning to take the course here or wants to take a course at Hiram, they need to apply to Hiram and be admitted by May 15th. We typically need an ACT score, but we will look at some other things if a student doesn't have an ACT score. They'll meet with our College Credit Plus counselor and sort of do some admissions. And so if the ACT is keeping somebody back, her name is Brittany Jackson, I have her card, or her information is on here. But as far as you do need an ACT score generally to get your application in, our deadline is May 15th for that application. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but
For the summer
I
term,
might be able to expand a little bit on
if
that.
they,
that's for
I think
next
the
fall.
question
May
Yeah.
15th
For the fall.
is for next
how
fall.
about for the summer term?
If I'm understanding correct, I think, so you understand, the letters of intent for any school you go to and the ACT deadline are the same for all schools, because those are set, those are like the law, the state sets those. But the individual college applications are set by the individual colleges, okay? So there are some that, some dates that are for every school, because the law says by April 1st, you have to have your letter of intent. It also says by the April ACT, okay? But then there's the applications, which are different dates.
Right, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if I wanted my child to go to YSU this summer,
Yeah,
and she did not take the ACT test because now it's
Right.
February 18th.
right.
She cannot go to YSU this summer.
Not for the summer.
Not for the
Not this summer, that's what I'm saying. So
Right.
Yeah, but
the
it's
question
for the
was
summer,
higher.
they are
I didn't hear her
totally
say,
out
you know, February 6th, you gotta have the ACT
I
test.
think you got the same thing. I think
So-
it's just February too.
If the student, okay, there's an if there. If the student has not taken if the student's a brand new CCP student, has not ever taken the ACT,
Right.
ever, and that student has missed the February ACT deadline, they cannot do summer semester at YSU.
Right.
Right.
But they can do fall, because the ACT we need for the fall semester is on this sheet right here, April 9th. So they'll take the April 9th ACT, apply by May 1st for fall admission, which starts in August of this year. Yes, ma'am.
I think we understand that part, but we are looking for some of our kids to actually start this summer to take a course.
If they're
So
brand
basically,
new.
what you're saying, and through all the rest of the colleges, is that any kid that has not had the test at all cannot even think about possibly doing a summer class.
At YSU, because
What about the other ones?
Well, I'll do my presentation. Really what it is that Eastern Gateway is an open enrollment school.
So are we, yeah.
So we're not focused on the ACT as a part of enrolling into college. But you do have to have certain benchmarks to get into the CCP program. If I can put this in.
Yeah.
No, two. Oh, it's
Were you done?
Oh, I guess.
Were you done?
I guess.
I'm sorry, no, I didn't know.
One before we start another one.
Well, no, because she was asking that one particular question.
Unless anyone has any, I'll stick around. If you have questions, you can come talk to me if you want to talk about Hiram. Or I do have handouts so you can get the information you need to apply to Hiram College. If you're planning on taking that course with Mr. Wolford here next year, you'll need to get into Hiram College to take that course.
Well, this is Eastern Gateway's version. We're going to go through it really quick. So I want to save some time to have Kent State left. But you can see, everyone knows the advantages of your child taking college classes while still in high school. But one thing you should make sure of is that your child is ready for the rigors of college. Okay? So it provides a wide range of course options. lowest cost post-secondary education, shortest time to complete a degree, and allows course transfer to four-year colleges and universities. Okay? Delivery options that we have in Eastern Gateway is online, face-to-face, interactive video, or blended models. Now, here's the part I think this young lady and the gentleman were talking about. We're an open enrollment school, YSU, and I'm not sure about Kent, but they have a benchmark. In order for you to enroll into college, you have to pass a certain benchmark on ECT. Here, in order for you to get into Eastern Gateway, we're an open enrollment school, but you have to take the active placer assessment to establish college readiness. That's the key for an open enrollment school, college readiness. And the reading sub-score must be 88, determined by the state. That's what you need. So that you talk to your guidance counselor. It's a very important thing to stay in contact with your guidance counselor, because now if your child has that reading sub-score, then they're determined to be eligible to enter into Eastern Gateway. Eastern Gateway, as an open enrollment school, with a student, after they graduate, we have what's called the Gateway Grant. Your child has a 2.5 GPA or higher, they're guaranteed to have 2 years worth of free education. Community college is the foundation for any four-year school. So they can start, get their associate's degree, and then move on to one of the other universities to complete their bachelor's and then their master's. But guaranteeing them 2 years worth of free education based upon the 2.5 GPA when they graduate high school. We have 4 counties that we deal with, Trumbull, Mahoney, Columbiana, and Jefferson County is where our main office is. And in Jefferson County, they have something unique. If you're a Jefferson County resident, you go to school for free, no matter what. But the thing about it is they had to do something a little bit up north so they can have that same type of feel, and that's why they got the Gateway Grant. So, of course, you have to complete the application for admissions. I didn't bring any of those, but it's online. I'm going to leave here today, leave you with the letter of intent, with the guidance counselor, and then some of our class offerings, too. Of course, we talked about the reading sub-score of 88. Students interested in taking math or English will need to take the active placer placement test. It can be very important. The benchmarks for the active placer go back once again to the ACT. If a student scores an 18 above, they are waived from taking the active placer because their ACT is higher. Does it mean that they have to take it? No. The reading sub-score is going to get them into, into college. Okay. But once again, the math placement would be a 22 or higher. Okay. Okay. Once we go back to the deadlines again, the same deadlines. April 1st, go to high school counselor. If you intend to participate in College Credit Plus for the 2016-2017 school year, complete the EGCC application for admissions and the academic assessment testing by May 20th, which is coming up a little quick, it's about a month from now. Discuss your high school schedule with your desired EGCC courses with your school counselor. Very important to stay in contact with your counselor. If you plan to take coursework on an EGCC campus, you must schedule courses with the admissions officer by August 15th. Okay, if you plan to take coursework offered at your high school, you must schedule with your high school counselor when making your school schedule. You do it at the same time. Okay, recommendations: English Comm, Humanities, Fine Arts, Social and Behavioral Sciences, Natural Sciences, Mathematics. And you see the asterisks here. Courses will help satisfy general education requirements for a bachelor's degree. Once again, we're talking about 2-year degrees, foundation for any 4-year degree. Okay? Your high school counselor will assist you in determining a course's equivalency to a high school's course. And once again, here are some of the samples of the 15 credit pathway. We have 2 pathways, 15 credit hour, 30 credit hour. Right? And this is a 30 credit hour pathway. Some classes here. And these are the contacts for our school. These will be your advisors. Sarah Fletcher or John Provenzano. John is on maternity leave right now, so you'll be speaking to Sarah, or you can contact me and I'll kind of get you in the right direction. Okay? Any questions? Oh, you want to say that? You go ahead. Okay. Good? You good?
Okay, my name is Robert Ridgel. I am the CCP advisor at Kent State University, the Trumbull campus, which is right up the road here. These are some of our admissions guidelines, deadlines. Our deadline right now is May 1st for fall and summer admissions into the program. So if you haven't taken the February ACT test and you're planning on taking the April test, it's important to know if you take the April test, you have to go onto the ACT website a week or two after you complete the test and print out your scores from the ACT website, download the scores, and you'll have to have them into us by May 1st. If you wait for them to come in the mail, they usually take 6 to 8 weeks to be mailed to your home or to the high school. So you have to go onto their website to get your score if you do the April testing. So that's one. These are some of our admission guidelines. At the regional campuses, we are open enrollment. But at our Kent campus, they're looking for let's say 3.0 preferred and a 21 composite score, preferred ACT score for students that are applying to the program. The reason why we're looking for those benchmarks is because typically students who do well in the College Credit Plus program are meeting those GPA requirements and those ACT requirements. Also, if they do not meet those requirements and they still want to participate in CCP, they'll have to take a placement assessment test in reading, writing, and math, and they'll have to have college level placement on those tests for them to take a college level course. So typically, if students meet these benchmarks, especially with the ACT score, they'll have college readiness and be able to take a college level course. So just keep that in mind. The state-wide standards for remediation, which your principal probably spoke about already in his presentation, but you can click that link on our website. It'll take you to the Ohio Department of Education website and give you those standards on what they must score in those areas on the ACT and also for our placement assessment. As far as applying, you go to our website. My contact information is here. If you need to contact me or email me, if you need to schedule an advising appointment, once you're actually a CCP student, our students schedule appointments with me as far as scheduling for fall and spring semester and even summer. But we will have orientations in the summer for new students, new CCP students, and we'll have those dates available for the students once they are accepted into the program. Apply. It's an online application. It's through our College Credit Plus webpage. And this is the webpage that is for all our campuses. We have 7 regional campuses and our main campus. You click Apply Now. It takes you through this page here, gives you the deadline. Summer and fall is May 1st. Last year's spring admissions was November 1st, but I think they're going to have another date, but it'll probably be sometime in November for spring. And just click this link here to submit the online application. That application must be submitted by May 1st. So if you try to do it after May 1st, it's not going to be active. It's not going to even allow you to apply if you miss it. So make sure you submit the application by May 1st. I typically tell students to apply before that date and also have their high school transcripts, ACT scores, and there is a CCP permission form that they have to download and have signed and filled out and turned in as well. And if you click this document here, you can fill that out, even if it's a PDF, you can print it out and send that in as well. So those are the things we're looking for: the online application, high school transcripts, ACT scores, CCP permission form. So that all needs to be in by May 1st if you plan on participating in the fall or the summer. If you're a new student and considering taking a summer class. I usually don't recommend that new students take summer classes only because the summer classes, the summer sessions are so short. They only run 5 weeks for our summer 1, 8 to 10 weeks for summer 2, and our summer 3 session runs about 5 weeks. So you're condensing a 16-week course, usually offered in the fall and the spring, into a 5-week course. And they go really fast. So if you've never taken a college course before, you may not want to start in the summer. You may want to wait, go in the fall, go in the spring, and then after you've had some success and you know how college courses go and how they work, then maybe you can consider coming back your following year, maybe taking a summer class. So typically I've never had any new students do summer. Usually it's after they've been in the program a year or two before they've taken a summer class. So that's something to think about. Because the classes, some of our classes run 4 days a week. They're 2 hours a day. Some of them are online. And it's a lot of work that you have to keep up with. You may have an exam quiz every day, reading assignments every day, every week. Something's due. So it goes really quick. So, depending on how your summer schedule is looking, that's something to think about, take into consideration. Okay. As far as some of the classes typically that our students take at Kent State through the CCP program, Mr. Starkey spoke about the College Writing 1, Writing 2, Psych and Soc being offered online. That is an option, or will be an option. Also, students can take those classes on campus if they choose to. Right now, we have students doing both from LaBrae. We have some students taking classes on campus, some taking classes online. We have some doing an on-campus class and an online class the same semester. So that's an option for them as well. The majority of these courses that are listed here are classes that students can use towards any bachelor's degree or associate degree program at Kent State. But also there's some classes on here that are under the Ohio Transfer Module or the TAG course. They have transfer insurance. That means they will transfer to any public state university in Ohio. So students can, maybe they decide not to go to Kent State or stay at Kent State after they graduate from high school and they want to go to YSU, Cleveland State, Ohio State, Akron, but those are all public state universities. Those classes, those courses that are under the Ohio Transfer Module will transfer to those other institutions. Now, if they decide to go to a private school or an out-of-state school, they need to talk to those admissions representatives at those institutions to see if they will accept Kent State credit. And also, they may want to keep their syllabus for that individual class because they may ask to see a syllabus. And because they want to make sure that that content of that course is equivalent to a course they offer at their school. Now, if you're looking at Ivy League schools, they may only want you to take their classes at their university. So that's something you need to talk to them about as well. They may not accept any post-secondary credit while you're a high school student. So that's something to think about. So remember deadlines, April 1st, intent letter for the high school, and then our deadline is May 1st for the application. And then make sure you have your transcripts, ACT scores, and your CCP form as well. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for me? I know I covered a lot of stuff quickly.
So whenever I send my ACT scores out to other colleges, I send it to Kent, Maine.
Okay.
Would you guys still get it at Kent Trumbull, or would I have to send it to Kent?
Now, if you send it to Kent, Maine, we can still look it up and get access to it. If you've applied and been admitted as a CCP student, and that score was sent to Kent campus, if they put it in the system, we can look it up and we can see it. We may ask for a copy of it, unless you didn't get it. If it wasn't sent, if you didn't have it sent to you at all, if it was just sent up to Kent, we can contact them and get a copy of it. So that's not an issue of it. But we usually, our admissions processors put that information into the system. They'll usually scan stuff so we can have access to it. So that's not an issue if you send it to the Kent campus. Now, when you're applying, remember, because we had this happen last year, we had a lot of students just going onto our main website, and they would click the Apply Now tab on the main webpage, and they were completing an online undergraduate freshman application. That is the wrong application. You want to make sure that you complete the CCP application, which is on the CCP webpage. So that would be this application here. So we had a lot of students do that. We had to tell them they had to go online and complete a new application, that was the wrong one. So make sure you complete the right application. So if it says undergraduate admission, new freshman, transfer student, that's the wrong application. You should be filling out the College Credit Plus app online app.
Would they be able to email us links to their application?
And you can check the status of your application as well. So once you've completed it, and once you start sending in your transcripts, ACT scores, and your CCP form, permission form, you can check the status and make sure all those things are in once we get them. Because we'll put them in the system, and you can check the status and make sure they're all in. Because you may receive an email from us saying that we don't have certain things yet, and you just need to make sure we get those things to us.
We can, if we get links to their online application, and we'll put it on our website as well.
Just a question about the online application. I know when you normally apply, there would be a fee. Is there a fee when you apply for the CCP?
No, there's no fee for CCP application. No, that's only if you decide after you graduate or when you're a senior in high school that you're going to apply to Kent, then at that point when you submit that new application as undergraduate freshman, that's when you'll actually pay an application fee, but not as a CCP student. Does anyone else have any questions for me? Okay. I have brochures about the CCP program for Kent State University. I also have the Kent Core list that I just showed you on our website. I have copies of that if you want to look at some of the classes. And I also have a credit hour sheet so you can see the 30 credit hours, how that equates to the semester hours at the high school if you want to check that out as well. Okay.
Any other CCP questions? Okay, about 10 minutes is all I need to go over the AP stuff, and we'll have you out of here. Let's give these folks a big hand here. I know it's a lot to digest, and what I would reiterate is that College Credit Plus is not for everybody. Okay, you know your child best. You know some of the things I would look for in your child is, can they communicate on their own? Do they have some self-advocacy skills? Do they have some of those skills to be able to do some of this on their own? Okay, or with the help of their parents. Those would be some things to consider here. We just a few minutes with AP. We're shifting gears on a different program. Okay, advanced placement. There are some of the things that are similar with AP and College Credit Plus is that there are higher expectations. It's more rigor. There could be some summer work. When you enroll into an AP class, you are going to sign an agreement form that says, I'm going to complete some summer work, because the AP curriculum is so broad and it's so much material that there's time needed in the summer. Okay? All the AP courses are taught by our teachers. All the AP courses are can be scheduled by on our schedule sheets. There are prerequisites that you have to meet for an AP course. So we offer here at the high school AP US History for sophomores, AP Government for juniors, AP English for seniors, and AP Spanish for seniors. Some of the expectations, okay? Again, they're going to be more demanding. They're faster paced. They're going to cover more material than a typical U.S. history class. You're going to be required to spend more time inside and outside school. There are exams at the end, which I'll cover what that means, but exams typically take about 2 to 3 hours to complete. What's great about AP? Okay, the first thing is, college admissions have become so competitive. And you're always looking for, how can your child separate themselves from other students who are applying? AP is recognized throughout the country. College Credit Plus is an Ohio deal. Okay, not every college even subscribes to CCP in Ohio. AP is across the country. So if your student enrolls in AP, they have that AP class on their transcript. Again, that's part of that separation between you and another student applying for a college. Now, how do you get college credit out of AP? Well, at the end of the course in May, every U.S. history student, every AP U.S. history student across the country has to take the AP exam. It's optional here, but takes the AP exam at the same time. So there could be 50,000 AP U.S. history students all taking an AP U.S. history exam, say May 8th at 8 a.m. You take that exam here. It's proctored by our teachers. If you score a 3 or above on that exam, you receive college credit for that class. And I'll show you a few charts of what that actually means. Because if you score a 4 or 5 on that exam, and the exams are rated 1 through 5, then you will earn even more college credit. Our students have the option of taking the AP exam. Our AP program at LaBrae is new. It's going to get better. It's going to keep getting better. Okay, so because it's new, we're giving our students the option of taking that. Each AP exam is $92, and that's a cost that the families have to incur. But our policy here is at the high school is, if you score a 3 or above on that exam, we're going to 100% reimburse you for the cost of that exam. So when we get that test score, which is usually in June, our treasurer will cut a check to your family for the cost of that exam. If students are on free and reduced lunch, the cost of that exam is roughly $60 each exam. Last year, the state of Ohio received a grant that every student that was on free and reduced lunch in Ohio had no cost to take the AP exam. And I'm not sure if we'll have that opportunity again or not, but there is a chance for that to happen again. Exam fees are due by March 1st. So if you have a student that's taking AP right now, I've already been into their classroom and given them an AP agreement form that they have to return to us by March 1st. Because come March 1st, I'm going to order the AP exams that your child will be taking in May. Exams are in May, 2 to 3 hours long, approximately $92. Multiple choice and essay questions. Exams are graded on a scale of 1 through 5. Every college and university has their own policy regarding AP. Okay, so a 5 at Kent could give you 6 hours of history credit. A 5 at Ohio State might give you 3 hours of college history credit. A 5 at Ohio University might give you 12 hours of college credit. So every college is different in that regards. Here's an example of YSU for our courses. If you take AP English and score a 3 on that exam, it tests you out of College Writing 1. If you get a 4 or 5, it's going to test you out of Writing 1 and 2. So what that means is that you're not paying that tuition. And you're not getting a transcripted grade on it. You're just testing out of that. So those are some general ed classes that you would not have to take. AP Government, 3, 4, or 5, you're testing out of the college course equivalent. U.S. History at YSU. If you get a 3, 4, or 5, you're testing out of U.S. History 1 and 2 that are offered in that college. AP Spanish. If you're a business major, marketing major, accounting major, take a foreign language. That makes you so much more marketable. International business. Sounds kind of cool. Okay? Learn Spanish. Take 4 years of Spanish. 80%. No, that was last year. 90% of the students who take the AP Spanish exam score a 3 or above. If your child's in AP or in Spanish 3, they need to think about AP Spanish 4. We have some students this year that I think will get a 4 or 5 on the AP Spanish exam and will almost have a Spanish minor by the time they graduate from high school. Here's OU. Okay, you see some of the same things here. You get a 3, 4, or 5 at Ohio University. Look at the Spanish. 8 semester hours, 9 semester hours, 12 semester hours. Some of those college, 15 hours is a minor, and you haven't stepped foot on a college campus. Let me show you a couple more things with AP, and we'll take some AP questions. Your child, they're taking AP now, will get an agreement form. You know, they would have to check the box of, you know, what exam fee that they owe, if they know that they're on a reduced, free and reduced lunch, or if it's a standard exam fee. So your child should have already received this. I'm already getting these forms back to students who are taking the AP exam. All right. You know where you're going to college. This is what I told all of our AP students last week. If you know where you're going to college, I know this is small, okay? But what this is listing here is, this is Ohio University. You'd have to do a search for AP placement. If you want to go to Kent, go to Kent's website, search for AP placement. You're going to go to Ohio State, search for AP placement. And it'll list all the AP courses across the country and what a 3, 4, and 5, what that will test you out of. Every college is different. I think I have one more thing here. Oh, yeah, I think we bored you enough. Okay. So, it's a lot of information to digest. Any AP questions? Yes, ma'am.
So, you were talking about how they would test out of a course.
Yes.
Do they actually get credit for those semester hours to add it toward their total credit hours?
That
Depend on the school.
it's probably going to depend on the school, okay? But what happens is, if you don't have to take that general ed, you're accelerating into your major faster, at a faster rate, because you've already proven that you can perform that history class at a college level. So the college is saying there's no need for you to take that. Other questions, AP questions?
Can you do a quick and very simple, like, compare and contrast between the college credit plus and the AP? Because it seems like the AP is almost like a better program. It seems like the plus I'm missing something.
The CCP program is at zero cost to families. Unless you fail it, go early, so on, okay? AP, you enroll in AP, what you get is on your transcript. You get that AP, okay? That's big in college admissions. That's because, in my opinion, I think AP is more important on your transcript than College Credit Plus. Because some of the classes that you're taking at the college level are those general ed classes. They're remedial college classes. You have to take the AP exam to get college credit. CCP, if you complete the course, you're getting credit and passing. CCP is only in the state of Ohio. If you have ambitions to go to the University of Tennessee or Pitt or Michigan, Harvard, okay, they may not honor the CCP classes and that credit. But your AP score will follow you everywhere. AP is offered by our teachers. It's going to be proctored. The exam is proctored by our teachers. College Credit Plus, you know, you're dealing with different folks sometimes. You're not always dealing with our teachers. So, I don't know, I tried to make this simple as I could, but yes?
The AP course, like when you go to take the test, is there materials that they're given to try to study for that? Because you're really pinning it all on one test versus college courses where you're gradually getting your grades as you go through. So there is a difference. I just need to hear, like, you know, is LaBrae, do they have a study material? Because you just said for the CC Plus, they provide all the materials you need to study.
Right.
But AP, it sounds to me that, you know, you go through the course, so what you get, it sticks. If it doesn't stick, you don't get your 3 or 4 or 5
right.
on the test.
So here's how the AP program works. It's like every teacher has to be credentialed. They have to earn a credential from the college board. Okay, they have to submit a syllabus of this is you know, this is the subject area that they have to cover. It has to be approved by college professors. That syllabus. A teacher's resume has to be approved by the college board. And then what that teacher does is they teach that curriculum. And that curriculum is all geared to that test. Okay? Now, different points At different points in the year, that teacher will be given maybe it's an assessment every 9 weeks to determine how far along they are and what content that student has mastered in the AP class. So they can go back and review some of those areas. And you keep building on that, and then it does. It all culminates at the end with that test. But some college classes are going to be the same. You might have three assignments in college. You don't know what you're going to get with the professor. Yeah.
What's LaBrae's percentage of actually getting the grade they need to get the college credit? What's our overall percentage? You say these teachers are teaching this, but what is the actual percentage? So last year we came to set overall was 50%. What are the actual chances of these kids getting this credit?
Well, if it's, and I can give you the national average, because I
want LaBrae.
well, like I said, it's new.
Well, how about last year?
It's 50%.
What was it?
50%. Last year, we didn't have an AP program. So those students were taking Spanish 4 with a substitute teacher because our teacher was out on maternity leave. And those students decided on their own to take the AP exam. So give you an idea, those kids last year, when I say 50% of them passed, they were taking Spanish 4, not an AP curriculum, not by Mrs. Hott, who I think is one of our very best teachers. And those students, 50% of them still passed that AP exam.
Is there other ones other than just Spanish?
Yeah, there's U.S. history.
How about that?
It's new, it's this year. These programs are new this year.
So is it just for the seniors?
No. So AP Spanish is seniors,
Right.
AP Government is juniors, AP English is seniors, and then AP U.S. history is sophomores.
And those are the only AP classes?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, and then they would take it all year?
Yes. It's a 4-year course, taught by our instructors in our classrooms.
I just want to be clear, they don't have to be registered with the university prior to taking
No,
the exam.
no.
So that's another benefit.
Yeah, they just have to meet the requirements.
Pass that
So
test.
typically what a requirement would be is the first thing we would look at is if you're going to take U.S. history, do you have all A's in world studies? We want to make sure that we're getting our top students, into that program because that curriculum moves at such a fast pace. They can keep up with it. Yes?
There are study guides for the AC history. That's the one I looked at. There are study guides out there that you can get from the library.
I mean, it's a great thing about the internet is that you can find just about anything. Okay, and there are lots of resources. There are lots of resources, and even when your student, if your student were to, we order those tests in March, your student will be exposed to a lot of resources, between March and May. And I know it's a short time, but again, it's just like any other test. We have the end of course exams. That covers a whole year worth of curriculum. And it's all, the result is all based upon one test, one shot.
Are you going to offer any other AP classes in the future?
Not at this moment. There aren't any more plans to do that at this moment. I'm ecstatic that we have what we have because we have gone from very little to 42 hours of college credit in our building and 4 AP classes. And again, that's a teaching staff that has said, hey, we're going to take on these additional responsibilities for our students. And I'm very proud of those teachers for doing that. Because it's more, it's extra. It's more, teachers that are teaching, Mr. Klotzbach and Mr. Kovac-Silvers and Mr. DeMuzio, some of those teachers are taking some coursework on their own. Out of their pocket. It's costing them money out of their pocket so they can teach these courses to your kids. Again, I think that's a great testament to the people that are teaching those courses.
If you took U.S. history your sophomore year, but AP wasn't available, could you take it your junior year, the test?
Good question. I would probably say no, okay? But I would give it some thought, because you didn't have those opportunities earlier. I would give it some thought to it. So I would say that door is not completely closed. Okay? Come see me here, you know, the next couple days. Anybody else? Questions? Okay, well, thank you very much. Got a lot of people here. That's great. You know, I'd love to see so many parents, so many of our students that are involved in making some of these decisions. When we have our scheduling meeting with our kids, we're always telling them, hey, you got to plan for your future. Plan for your future, plan for your future. So thanks for coming. Do you have any other questions? Please contact us. If you have admissions questions, you need to contact each one of those universities, okay? Because we don't know what you have to do at YSU, Eastern Gateway, Kent. You know, that's the responsibility of our families and our students. So thank you.